Hello and welcome to Rosa Laura. If this is your first time visiting the channel, it's so lovely to meet you. And if you're returning, it's so wonderful to have you back. My name is Rosa, I'm a digital artist, and today I'm working on a commission. This commission is of a character named Nidhogg from actually a friend of mine who wanted to commission me to do my own take on his character, and it's honestly such a blast. I love doing an interpretation of somebody else's character. The art in the bottom right hand corner of the canvas is his art of Nidhogg, and there's going to be another reference image of him that comes up afterward, but I wanted to have a lot of fun with the texturing and perspective. One of the prompts that my commissioner gave me is he wanted for it to look like Nidhogg was kind of looming over the perspective character or the viewer. He is a bit of a scary guy, and I knew immediately this is gonna come together in the lighting. The perspective can only do so much without the sort of forced perspective that comes with those really specific lighting choices. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be a master of perspective. It's definitely something that I am not as versed in, but it also gives me a lot of good reason to experiment and to try my best to really get some of those perspective things down. For instance, I did use the perspective tool to make sure that the upper half of the body seemed a little bit farther away, and the tail portion was definitely a little bit thicker, so you can see that it's a little bit closer to the viewer's eye. I had a lot of fun detailing a lot of these textural scales. I love doing scaling, even though it takes a long time. On the original design of Nidhogg, there's a lot of these like bumps and ridges. They kind of remind me of bone spurs, and I wanted to integrate that idea of those bone spurs or those little bumps with the idea of like naga snake scales. So I tried to take my own idea and interpretation on those little bumps and ridges and turn them into something that were, a little bit more of my interpretation, since that's what the artist wanted. I actually drew a lot of inspiration from the beast from Over the Garden Wall. If you have a problem with holes, if you have scopophobia, go ahead and close your eyes for just a second in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I drew a lot of inspiration from images like this with sort of like that internal glow. A lot of like, I think that it just really fit the idea. Image off the canvas for those of you who don't like scopophobia. I thought that it would make a really good kind of touchstone image for the lighting in general. I knew that I wanted that background to be dark. I knew that I wanted the light to be really contrasty and still warm. Nidhogg has this very sort of like internal glow warmth that other characters obviously, don't have. He is unique in that way. He's demonic. He's got something a little extra going on. So I wanted there to be a little bit of extra spice in the way that I handled his lighting in particular. And I think on the whole, it makes for a really lovely, cohesive piece. I think that he looks like a horror creature. I mean, he's cute. He's fun. I love Nidhogg personally. I think he's a cool guy, which is such a weird thing to say about like a little snake demon. But I think that he looks like a lot of fun. On the whole, I'm really happy with how he turned out. I love the really subtle sort of like branch shading in the background to indicate a forest. And I love those little last minute dot highlights that kind of allude to more scales that aren't exactly outlined. So I'm really happy with how Nidhogg turned out. As always, I want to thank my patrons that help me make art, but especially Banjo, Confocal Clips, Deator, and Fire Pit. You guys are all the best. And of course, thank you to you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see something else, there's a video down at the bottom. Please like and subscribe. And if you like what I do, support me on Patreon. And remember, it's all gonna be okay. See you next time.